Hello, hope you are doing well. So today we are going to discuss the remaining portion of our discussions. So this is related to import of goods and also export of goods. So this discussion will be confined from the viewpoint of the legal provisions. So that is, we'll be discussing from the viewpoint of the Customs Act and Customs Tariff Act. In fact, in our syllabus, there is procedures of importation, there is procedures of exportation, there is demand of customs duty, recovery and refund in customs, and also there is duty drawback. However, in our previous classes we have already discussed about duty drawback, so we will not discuss that subchapter now. Rather, we will be focusing on other part. So first of all, we will be discussing about some, and after that the procedures of importation, how the goods are being produced, then procedures of export, then how the demand of custom duty are being made, and then recovery and refund of customs duty. So this plan of study is in line with the syllabus of ours for the purpose of examination. First of all, we will be discussing about definition of goods. So there are 5 categories of goods that comes under Customs Tariffs Act 1975, and this is vehicle, maybe a ship, vehicle, maybe railways or even roadways, and aircraft. So these are all goods. Then stores, then baggage, currency, in case of ours maybe dollars or euro, or negotiable instrument, or any other kind of movable property. So next we will talk about the definitions of bill of entry. So some terms we should know in this regard. One is bill of entry, another is bill of export, and another is bill of lading. According to section 2 subsection 4, bill of entry is to be filled up by importer when imported via sea or air. On the contrary, bill of export is related when the export is taking place, so it is being filled up by the exporter when exported via land route. Now, bill of lading. So this is a receipt that is issued by the carrier to the consignor. Carrier means, suppose it is if it is a ship, then the captain of the ship is the carrier. So a receipt will be issued by the carrier to the consignor who is consigning the goods. Now we will be discussing. So here we will be discussing about some definition. First of all, we will be discussing about customs area. So what is customs area? It is the customs station, warehouse, and place of goods that is kept for clearance. So regarding this customs station, we will be discussing in the next section. And warehouse, we know these are the place where goods may be kept after importation, and third is the place of goods kept before clearance. It is the place where goods are normally kept after the importation or before the exportation. Now, the customs station refers to the customs airport, customs port, and land customs station. Now, the import may take place through flight, through ship, or through roadways. That means through railways or through other mode of transport. Now, whenever the import is taking place, they will have to report to the specific customs station. For flight, the import will take place through customs airport. For ship, import will take place in customs port, and for railways or roadways, it will be imported through land customs station. So, avoiding this customs airport, customs port, and land customs station is prohibited. Customs authority approves this airport, port, and land customs station, and they also set up their offices there, where they check the imported goods, they take the necessary duties, they accept the necessary duties and give the clearance as well. Secondly, customs airport. This is customs approved airport. So any import which is not approved by the customs airport is illegal one. And customs port. Similarly, if a ship is importing goods, you'll have to anchor in customs port. The importation to any other place is prohibited and is considered as smuggling. Now about the second chapter. What is import and when import takes place? So import is defined under section 223. So there is no very specific or rigid definition for this, but any goods brought into India from outside India is called import. Import includes commercial import and non-commercial import. Now, we'll be discussing about when import takes place. Whether import takes place when goods cross territorial water of India, or import takes place when cargo touches landmass of India. In fact, there are two schools of thoughts, and the legal provisions are not clear about this. However, there is one case in Supreme Court, that is by Garden Silk Mills versus UOY 1999, where it is observed that whenever the ship is entering into the Indian territorial water, the import starts, but whenever it touches the landmass of India, that means whenever it touches the land of India, then the import completes. So, according to that Supreme Court judgment, the import only completes when the ship anchors into Indian mass. So we will be discussing about the procedures of import. Before that, let us understand what are the different methods of import. So goods can be imported in 5 ways. The goods can be imported through air, through sea, through land and road. The importation can take place through postage and also importation as baggage. So whenever some traveler comes into India, he may bring some material or article along with him. So this is termed as baggage. So these 5 types of importation could take place. So the next section will be discussing about the import procedure for first 3 sections. That means importation by air, importation by sea and importation by road. They are almost similar and we will be discussing them point-wise. Now, before that, we should be familiar with some important responsible position according to the Customs Tariff Act. First of all, person in charge. In case of any importation, always there will be one person in charge as defined by the Customs Tariff Act. In case of the aircraft or in case of the ship, the captain or the main person responsible is the person in charge. Secondly, there is a proper official. The customs authority appoints this proper official, okay, and they act as customs authority. Now, custodian. This is approved by customs authority. So whenever goods are being imported, they are unloaded into the dock and the goods comes under the custody of the custodian as approved by the customs authority. So until it gets cleared or until it is sent to the warehouse, the goods are kept under the control and custody of custodian. Now let us understand about the import procedure nutshell. Then we will be discussing. First of all, the goods arrived at the port, and whenever the good comes, whenever the goods come, then person in charge of the ship, he delivers import report to the proper official, stating that the import is going to be done with some specification. Now, entry inward pass is granted by proper official to the person in charge. So after getting the permission from the proper official regarding entry inward, the person in charge instructs unloading of goods at the customs port. So this unloading takes place under the supervision of proper officer, and this should take place, that means the unloading should take place at the approved places, and it should be on some working day and at some working hours. So as soon as the unloading takes place, so goods comes under the custodian as approved by the customs authority. Now the proper officer gets the filled up electronic bill of entry from the importer. That means importer fills up bill of entry electronically to the proper official. So this bill of entry may be of three types. It could be for home consumption, that means that will be directed towards the consumption in the country, or that will be transshipped to some other destination in some other port, or those goods could be sent to the warehouse. So if it is meant for home consumption, then the importer will have to assess the duty, customs duty, and will have to submit to the proper officer. The proper officer could verify that and also reassess if required. And on payment of duty, the importer gets the clearance permission from the customs authority and he takes charge of the goods from the custodian. If the goods are transferred to warehousing, then the duty is not to be paid upfront, but whenever the goods are to be cleared from warehousing, the payment of duty is to be made on the basis of self-assessment, and then the clearance of imported goods will take place. So we can discuss this in a little detailed way. First of all, we will see that the procedures, as I mentioned earlier, the procedure for importation of goods by air, by sea or by land has been beefed up here. First of all, landing of aircraft or arrival of vehicles. The person in charge of vehicle or aircraft shall allow landing, anchoring of ship only at customs station. Then delivery of import report. The person in charge shall deliver the import report to the proper officer. Then granting entry inward. The proper officer would grant entry inward order. Fourth, unloading of goods. The imported goods shall be unloaded in customs station under supervision of proper. Then fifth point is that custody of unloaded goods. A person approved by the customs authority shall be the custodian of the unloaded goods. Then filling of bill of entry. The importer of any goods shall file a bill of entry electronically. It could be of three types as we mentioned earlier. Now, the importer would self-assess the duty, the proper officer would verify and may reassess if. Then, payment of duty, customs duty has to be paid for home consumption. And clearance of goods. The goods lying under the supervision of custodian have to be cleared within 30 days. So this is the discussion on the basis of which the preparation. So for that purpose I have framed up some questions, so you can prepare with it and check how far you are ready for the. And then there are some references as well. So thank you very much for your patient hearing.